Right, welcome back to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program, Targeted Individual Experience. So the Sambos think that they're pretty slick. Again, trying to use the key, keys, you know, shaking the keys. I'm on the bus, woman sitting next to me, I have my eyes closed, listening to some music, and you know, she's purposely like hitting me to try to wake me up, right? But she's doing it in a way like she's going into her bag, you know, taking her keys out. Like, you on the damn bus, okay? you taking your keys out for what? You know, so, and then got off the bus, and then the Sambo, they took his keys out, walking, you know, like, yeah. Like I said, come see me anytime. Anytime, man, come see me, okay? All right? Come see me. But make sure I'm awake when you come see me, right? If you're that big and you're that brave and you're that bold, make sure I'm awake. Don't do it when I'm sleeping, because then you're a coward. Okay? There you go. You know, because again, this is the cowardly thing that they engage in. Right? It's funny how, you know, they engage in such behavior, right, as if they're so righteous and they're so moral, when they're the most morally corrupt. You know, like I said, you always can tell when they're up to no good, when they engage in these subliminal messages about, oh, well, you know, we're going to wait till you're sleeping, and then we're going to come. And I'm waiting till I'm sleeping. I'm right. You can stop me on the street. You can, you know, between the hours when I'm awake, you know I'm awake when I'm asleep, okay? So, you know, but I know the reason why they're doing it, and they know the reason why they're doing it, because they're cowards. That's what they are. They're cowards, all right? That's why they got to engage in their little psychological warfare, because they're cowards. They think they can set you up and get away with it, to try to control you and enslave you. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. You know? Control your own kids. Control your mama, your papa. Control your family. Don't try to control me. All right? So, yeah. Oh, also, by the way, I almost forget this too. So walking back with my daughter from pickup from school, they, again, using ethnic targeting of Hispanic women. You know, as I walked, as I ended the video, you guys see me getting to my daughter's school, ended the video to go into the schoolyard to go pick up. They start using this Hispanic woman. And I can always tell, because what they'll do is that they'll look at me, and then they'll start looking at whoever it is. It could be a Hispanic woman, it could be a white woman, it could be a black woman. You know, they'll have their time when they'll just use a specific group of women, or specific women in particular, to engage in this sort of, you know, I guess, what is it, honey trapping, or trying to say, well, you know, we're going to use this woman again to make false accusations, shit like that. You know, like I said, I don't even worry about that shit. you guys see me, I've shown you guys this stuff already. So, you know, so like I said, there's from time to time that they'll do that. All right. And it doesn't matter. Like I said, they use a variety of women, but today it was a Hispanic woman, this Hispanic woman too. So I was like, well, okay, well, I think it was two of them. As me and my daughter was crossing the street, they had a Hispanic woman. She was wearing a red jacket, and as the light changed, you know, she stick her finger in her ears, right, as she looks up at the red light. So I stuck my fingers in my ears, and I looked up at the red light, and I looked at her, right. And then you had a black Sambo woman standing there, like, you know, observing, like, whatever. I mean, you know, what are you trying to do? And the reason why they do that is because they think that they can manipulate you into not responding to those sort of things, right? Those sort of coercive threats, right? Because, you know, this thing about, well, if you don't, you know, if you're responding to it, that must mean you're guilty. I'm like, yeah, really? I'm like, okay. Okay. Yeah, all right. You guys keep believing that shit. You guys keep believing that nonsense, okay? Let me tell you, I've heard my own family members say, well, you know, if you, you know, if you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. And I would say, why don't you go look at the what do you call it, the Innocent Project, Why don't you go look at that and see which group of men are being exonerated at a higher rate than any other group of men? Now, and then you tell me, or a matter of fact, go look at these videos on YouTube where you see police officers planting drugs on young black men, planting drugs in their car. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. I see the bus. Look. I see the bus. Okay, don't try to. Yeah, no. It ain't working. The New York Predator Department. They send the traffic division, still New York Predator Department. But the way how they were moving the bus with the sanitation truck is to obscure it. Like I can see it, but if I had turned, the phone, you guys would not have been able to see it. That's why I had to walk that way so I can get a good video of them, right? Yeah. So as I was saying, I said, why don't you go read about these, countless black men, right, being free from prison 20 years later, 30 years later, right, because of crooked DAs and crooked police officers, said, well, I don't care if you did the crime or not, you're going to be charged and you're going to be convicted. Okay? All right, so again, Negropeans, that's their mindset. They tend to ignore the reality. They tend to act as if these things don't exist until it happens to them or somebody close to them, family member, their son, daughter, mother, father, what have you, aunt, uncle, or even themselves, right? For them to get a wake-up call, right? Okay? And again, we tend to not understand, in terms of population, in terms of the black population, and in terms of the disparity in terms of incarceration rate, right? So, you can say, well, most crimes are committed by white people. But they don't focus, the media don't focus on it. The media will tell you about black and black crime. The media will tell you about all these other things. How come the media don't tell you about white on black crimes? Right? Okay, because we see in Congress, they can pass bills to protect Asians, to protect the other groups of people, right? Anti-Asian hate bill, this hate bill, whatever. But why did they never pass an anti-black hate bill, right? Why? Because the vast majority of people in America who are non-black have been conditioned to hate black people, right? So when they see this first of all, they pass an anti-hate crime bill, but when you look at the statistics, more black people experience hate crimes than any other group of people, right? But black people are conditioned with this plantation mindset, either the liberal plantation mindset or the conservative plantation mindset, right? So either the Democratic plantation mindset or the Republican plantation mindset, right? Which both parties tend to ignore issues involving black people, right? While the Democrats, particularly in urban areas and big cities, are manipulating the immigration policy in which Hispanics are now the second most populous group in America. And I keep saying to black people, do you really think your black vote is really that important? Right? And if you feel it is, why don't you go look at the total population of the United States by ethnic group? And then come back and you tell me how important you think your vote is. You have to understand the game that they're playing with us. Okay? So, I say if every white adult voted, male and female, right, for a particular candidate, whichever candidate they want, that candidate would win without the black vote, without the Hispanic vote. Let me tell you something. The vast majority of white people don't vote. They don't vote because they know the system is a sham. Not also do they know the system is a sham, but they know this for other groups of people, but they know the system is going to benefit them either way. So they don't have to vote. Okay? I mean, come on. I'm like, wow, you know, the psychological conditioning that they've done to us is, you know, it's incredible. It's when you finally become awakened to this, you know, you're like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like they really got us so deceived and so manipulated. You know, it's like, you know, they say they have you hook, line, and sinker. Well, they got us hook, line, and sinker. Okay? That's to tell you. And because we don't want to hear the truth, we've been conditioned with so much lies. You know, it's like I was talking to Pam earlier, and I said to her, you know, when I called, I said, you know, I woke up, I said, you know, let me give her a call and see how things go with a listener. She's like, oh, you know, she's in school, and you know, she keeps such a fight, whatever. And I'm telling her, I said, you know, I've told you before. I told you a long time ago. I said, you continue to ignore the kids and you continue to interfere with me in terms of teaching them discipline and structure. All right, this is what happens. This is what's going to happen. I said, and you can't say I didn't tell you. Okay, I told her this. I said, you cannot say I didn't tell you. Right? And again, and I didn't tell you for just to gloat or what have you. I tell you so that you can start to recognize the signs of these things and to try to curve it, to try to correct it. Not just within them, but within yourself. But she doesn't want to do that. These women are so conditioned that they don't want to be held accountable. Look, he's turning his back. look. As the bike, it was a bike. It drove by, he turned around and turned his back, right? The way he did it was so funny, right? They don't try to play it off now by turning around every time now. See, they try, and again, they always try to play it off for the camera, right? Because they think, but I can explain exactly what it is that they're doing, right? As he was turning facing me, there's a bike, because they like to run this bike theme, you know, and the bike theme has to do with, you know, like bisexual and all this shit, right? And how? Let me tell you how they did that. So first, you know, they'll, you know, through silent sound, they'll send me all these subliminal messages, right? Then I start to see all these dykes showing up around me, you know, sticking their finger in the same shit, sticking their fingers in the ears, and you know, or what have you, or walking by a Pam building and looking up, you know, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, you start to see a lot of people on bicycles, and then they start looking down at the wheel, right? Or if the bicycle is parked up on the sidewalk, they will look at you and then look at the bicycle, right? You know what I'm saying? They run these bisexual theme or these lesbian dyke themes all the time, right? And then they may engage in conversation. You know, I think she's bisexual. She's in the closet, you know, as they walk past you. You know what I'm saying? Trying to, you know, manipulate your thought pattern, you know, trying to see the subliminal message. And like I said, I don't really care. I don't care. You know, that's her. You know, as anybody, that's their life. It ain't my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand why people are like that, okay? And the vast majority of people who are like that are manipulated, you know, also because of childhood trauma. All right, that is purposely orchestrated onto them. So even the perpetrators don't even really truly understand what has been done to them. Okay? They don't. You know, and you have these mothers who, as like I tell Pam, I said, don't you send our daughter to school in no tights and just a short shirt or a short sweater, okay? Make sure that her shirt covers her behind, make sure her sweater covers her behind. All right? So like I've talked to my daughter about it, I said, you know, for particularly in the black community, black mothers, they sexualize their kids, their children. They sexualize their children. You know, they will have their boyfriend come around and have their teenage daughters, you know, wearing booty shorts or walk around the house in their bra and panties. Like, you know, you don't do that, right? And particularly when you see them, they're smoking weed, they're drinking, what have you. You know, it's like these women are setting their daughters up for failure and these black men up to be trapped. Okay? I'm not, and again, not every black man, just very few, okay? Because you got to understand how they manipulate people, right? So they can't, obviously they can't run this sort of script on the majority of people. They can't. So they need to have a very few group of people who they can manipulate into doing such things. And getting the woman to be a big part of it. Because why? Because these are psychotic people. These are sociopathic people. These are the dark triads, right? Who are very, what is called trauma-based conditioning, right? Or ritual trauma-based conditioning, right? Some people call it satanic ritual, what have you. It's not satanic ritual. It's religious people who have been conditioned to believe that suffering is the way to get you to accept Christ, to accept their God. You know, suffering is if you suffer, is nothing compared to what Jesus went through. So they're going to make you suffer, right? Because they're going to say, well, Jesus went through so much more, you can handle it. And in their mind, they think that what they're doing to you and making you suffer is nothing compared to what their so-called Jesus went through. And again, which is all lies. It's all lies. You know what I'm saying? Their whole religious thing is based on the spilling of blood and the suffering of people in order to bring them to Christ. And that's what they keep doing. That's the conditioning, right? At least that's part of the condition. That's not the only part of conditioning, but that's part of it, right? Because the religious base, these people have been conditioned with a mental illness. You know, this is, like I said, what they have done is that they have become psychiatrists and psychologists, and they've infiltrated these organizations like the AP, the American Psychological Association, in order to to change certain things, to redefine certain things, right? Because prior to the 1960s, right, when religious people start talking about seeing ghosts and all this shit, they used to be labeled with a mental illness, or how God was speaking to them. They used to be labeled with a mental illness, okay? Because the very own Bible tell you God don't speak to you, okay? If you want to hear God's word, you go to the Bible. God don't come to you in a dream, because He's not a prophet, okay? But this is the mindset of these people, right? Because their very own Bible will tell them God don't speak to you. So when in the Sunday you go to church, you hear the pastor say God told him this. God didn't tell him shit. He's not a prophet, okay? He's a charlatan. She's a charlatan, if you're a female pastor, because they're not supposed to even be female pastor. Your very own Bible tell you that, okay? But then they'll try to say, well, Mary Magdalene spoke about the God. That's all bullshit. Come on, right? If you so-called Bible that you have in your hand, it tells you that women are not supposed to preach to men. Okay? What are the order? God, man, woman, and children. Okay? So that's your Bible says that shit. Talk to you guys in this video.